The great hall of the Crovalan Empire was filled with light and power. Bright red banners hung from the tall walls. Warriors in heavy armor stood on each side. In the center sat King Vurox, the ruler of 1,000 worlds. His golden armor shined under the ceiling lights. His long tail rested behind his throne. His sharp eyes looked down at the 3 alien advisors kneeling in front of him. "Speak," the king said, his voice deep like thunder. One advisor, a thin alien with 6 fingers and glowing eyes, stood up. "Your Highness, we received reports from the edge of the galaxy. A new species has reached space travel. They call themselves humans." King Vurox raised one brow. "Humans? Never heard of them. They come from a small blue planet. It's called Earth. Their technology is weak, their ships are slow, but we lost a scout ship when it entered their system." That made the king pause. Then he leaned back in his throne and laughed, a loud, deep laugh that echoed through the hall. "Ha! You fear these soft little creatures, weak things with no claws, no armor, no poison. You say one scout ship vanished, and now you think they are a threat?" Another advisor stepped forward. "Sire, it is not just the scout ship. Before it vanished, we picked up strange energy signals. The humans may have weapons we don't understand." "Then send another ship," the king said with a wave of his hand. "No, send a war cruiser. Take their leaders and bring them to me. I want to see their faces when they beg." The advisors bowed low. "Yes, King Vurox." As they left the hall, the king stood and looked at the stars from a large window. "Let's see what these humans can do," he whispered with a grin. Far away in Earth's orbit, the human defense station known as Sentinel-1 picked up movement. "Unidentified object entering the solar system," said the operator, eyes focused on the screen. "Big one." General Ramirez walked to the console. "Show me." On the screen, a massive alien war cruiser appeared, moving fast toward Earth. "Looks like they're not here to talk," he said. Behind him, the director of Earth security gave the order. "Activate Black Protocol." All across Earth, silent. Signals went out, satellites turned, submarines under the sea moved. Bases hidden in the moon and Mars powered up. The world united without a word. Back on the alien war cruiser, the commander looked at Earth through the viewing window. "Such a quiet little planet," he said. "This will be easy." Suddenly, lights flashed. The ship's sensors went dark. The engines failed. "What is happening?" the commander shouted. Before he could finish his sentence, a strange ship appeared from behind the moon. It was small and black, with no visible weapons. But it moved faster than anything the aliens had ever seen. "Unknown vessel approaching," the pilot said, panic in his voice. "Open fire." The alien war cruiser launched plasma torpedoes. But they missed. The human ship moved like a ghost, dodging each one. Then it attacked. A single beam of light cut through the war cruiser's shields. Systems crashed. The engines exploded. The crew screamed. Within seconds, the alien war cruiser was disabled, floating, helpless in space. A message came through the ship's communication system. "This is Earth Defense Command. Leave our planet and do not return. This was your warning." The human ship vanished. In the Crovalan Royal Hall, King Vurox watched the video in silence. His advisors stood frozen. For the first time, the great king looked unsure. How did they do this?" he asked. The advisor replied, "We don't know. The humans used a new kind of technology, faster, smarter, unlike anything we've seen." The king stood, his tail twitching in anger. "They dare to attack a ship of the Crovalan Empire? They dare to warn me?" His voice rose. "This is not over. I will show them who rules the galaxy." He pointed to the ceiling where a huge map of the galaxy was displayed. "Prepare the fleet, 30 warships. I want Earth taken. Burn their cities if needed. Capture their leaders This time, I will crush them myself." The advisors bowed again. "Yes, Your Majesty." On Earth, the president of the Human Alliance met with top leaders in a secret base under the Atlantic Ocean. "They're coming back," said the defense chief. "A full invasion force this time." The president nodded. "Let them come." "But sir," someone said, "their fleet is huge. We can't fight them in open space." "We won't," the president replied. "It's time to activate the Deep Defense Protocol." The room fell silent. "Are you sure?" asked a scientist. "It's never been tested." "We prepared for this day," said the president. "We knew one day someone out there would try to take Earth. Now it's time to show them what humans are really made of." The Crovaland fleet entered Earth's solar system. 30 massive warships moved in formation, blocking out stars. But something was wrong. "Sir," the alien sensor officer said, "I don't see Earth." "What do you mean?" barked the commander. "Earth! It's gone!" The king's ship scanned again and again. There were planets, moons, and stars, but Earth had vanished. Suddenly, alarms rang across the fleet. Multiple unknown contacts. Someone screamed. "They're coming from the asteroid belt!" Hundreds of human ships appeared. Some looked like fighters. Others were unmanned drones. All were fast and ready. The lead human ship sent a message. "You came looking for Earth. You found us instead." The Crovaland fleet stood in the empty space where Earth was supposed to be. King Vurox sat on his throne inside the command ship Wrath of Croval. His eyes burned with anger. His claws tapped the armrest slowly. "Where is the planet?" he asked. Coldly, his sensor officer answered with fear in his voice. "Sire, Earth is not here. Our systems show it should be in this position. But there is nothing. No planet, no moon, just space," Vurox growled. "Planets do not vanish. Scan again." While his ships scanned the area, something strange happened. One by one, Crovaland ships lost signal. Their systems went dark. Their engines slowed. "What's going on?" shouted the war captain. "Report!" "No idea, Commander," said the technician. "We are being jammed, but not like before. It's not normal jamming. It's something smarter." In the shadows of the asteroid belt, human warships prepared for battle. Their leader, Admiral Leon Harper, stood inside the command center of the Valkyrie, a long-range stealth cruiser. "Is everyone in position?" she asked. "Yes, ma'am," replied her officer. "The Crovaland fleet is blind. They can't see us. Operation Ghostfang is ready to begin." Admiral Harper gave a short nod. "Let's begin. They thought we were weak. Let's show them how wrong they are." At her command, hundreds of human drones flew silently from the rocks. These machines were built with stealth systems, silent engines, and smart targeting AI. They had no pilots. They needed none. The first wave reached the outer ring of Crovaland ships. No alarms were triggered. No one saw them coming. Then, all at once, the drones struck. Bright explosions lit up the black sky. Crovaland warships shook as power cores exploded, and engines died. The fleet broke formation. Officers shouted orders. Panic spread. "Shields up! Find the enemy!" "We can't," yelled a young alien officer. "There's nothing on the scanners." "Then fire in every direction." Beams and torpedoes filled space, but they hit nothing. The human drones had already vanished into the dark again. Inside Wrath of Croval, King Vurox stood up, furious. "What is this trickery? Where is the enemy?" His chief advisor looked pale. "It is human, sire. They must have hidden their forces. This is a trap." "A trap? You think I, King Vurox, can be trapped by vermin?" he shouted. "Sire, our ships are falling fast. We must retreat or reorganize." Vurox slammed his fist onto the control panel. "No! I will not run from these cowards! Bring me their leader! I want their face on this screen!" Back on the Valkyrie, Admiral Harper spoke calmly into the communication system. Her message was sent directly to the Crovaland flagship. This is Admiral Leon Harper of the Human Defense Fleet. You entered our system without permission. You attacked us first. We showed you mercy before. You ignored our warning. Now we will defend Earth. We will not allow invaders. The message played inside Wrath of Kroval. King Vurox stared at the screen. He expected to see fear in the humans' face, but instead, he saw calm confidence. "Cut the message," he ordered, but before they could, Admiral Harper said one more thing. "You may have ruled other galaxies, King Vurox, but humans are not like other species. We don't kneel, we fight, and when we do, we never fight alone." The message ended. On the edge of the battlefield, something massive appeared. At first, the Krovalan ships thought it was an asteroid, but it wasn't. It was a human battle station, one never seen before. Its name was Sentinel Prime, and it had been hidden inside a hollow asteroid for years. The moment it activated, powerful energy beams shot out. One beam cut straight through a Krovalan cruiser. Another destroyed 2 ships with one strike. The human fleet finally revealed itself. Dozens of warships, old and new, moved from the shadows. Their designs were different. Some were made by American engineers, some by Chinese, some by Russian, Indian, and European teams. But they all worked together. This was the united power of Earth. King Vurox gritted his teeth. His tail whipped angrily behind him. "They were hiding this all along," he said. His war advisor nodded slowly. "Yes, sire. While we thought them weak, they prepared. They watched. They built these ships in secret. And now they strike like cowards," said Vurox. "No, sire," the advisor said, almost whispering. "They strike like warriors." Vurox turned sharply. "You dare praise them? I only speak truth, my king. If we do not change our plan, we will lose the fleet." Vurox stared at the map. Red dots, representing his ships, were disappearing fast. "I will not retreat," he said, "but send a message to the nearest support fleet. We need reinforcements." As the Krovalans tried to call for help, the humans made their second move. 3. Cloaked ships flew straight toward Wrath of Kroval. Their mission, to capture a Krovalan officer alive. They dodged fire, cut through the outer guard ships, and boarded a medium-class ship named Bloodtooth. Inside, human commandos moved fast. They used short-range EMP bursts to freeze alien weapons. They stunned guards, secured corridors, and captured the alien second-in-command, Commander Rotan. Before the Krovalans could respond, the humans were gone, vanishing into space with their prisoner. Hours later, inside a secret human base deep in space, Commander Rotan sat in a sealed room. Across from him sat a human intelligence officer named Agent Cole. "We're not here to torture you," said Cole calmly. "We just want to talk." "You're monsters," the alien growled. Cole smiled. "No, we're survivors. For a long time. We looked up at the stars and wondered who else was out there. We saw your kind. We watched you. And we prepared." Rotan looked away. "You thought we were weak because we don't have claws or scales," Cole continued. "But we have something better. Brains, teamwork, and the will to protect our home." Rotan said nothing. Cole leaned forward. "Tell your king this. Earth is not a prize to be taken. We are not the prey. We are the storm." Inside the damaged remains of his fleet, King Vurox stared at the stars. He had never lost a battle before. But today, he had lost many ships, many warriors, and a piece of his pride. He said nothing for a long time. Then he whispered to himself, "They are not what I thought. They are not weak. They are dangerous." His war advisor waited in silence. King Vurox finally turned. "Prepare. The Second Fleet. This time we will strike with everything we have. This is no longer a raid. It is war." Dark clouds of smoke floated through space. Wreckage from broken Krovalan warships drifted near the asteroid belt. Pieces of metal spun slowly. Glowing sparks faded into the stars. Far from the battle zone, the Crovalan support fleet arrived. 50, warships strong. They were fast, powerful, and ready for revenge. Inside the lead ship, Doomspear, Commander Varek prepared for the next strike. He was known as the Burning Blade in Crovalan war history. He had never lost a battle. "Location of the enemy?" he asked. "Scanners show nothing," his officer replied. "But we have last known data. The humans attacked from the asteroid field." Commander Varek nodded. "Foolish choice. They hide in rocks, like insects. Crush them." The fleet moved forward, spreading wide across the asteroid field. Beams and missiles shot out. Explosions tore through the space rocks. Dust and fire filled the area, but the humans weren't there. Far away, in a hidden nebula, Earth's real defense forces waited. Admiral Harper stood on the command deck of the Valkyrie and watched the hologram. "They took the bait," she said, calmly. Her crew smiled. They had tricked the Crovalans again. Instead of staying near the asteroid belt, the humans had moved their main fleet to the Nebula Ghost Zone, a place where Crovalan sensors didn't work well. The Admiral turned to her. "Chief Engineer, is the new weapon ready?" "Yes, Admiral. The graviton pulse is fully charged." Admiral Harper nodded. "Good. Lock target. The moment they return to regroup, we strike." In the asteroid field, Commander Varek grew angry. He had destroyed dozens of rocks but found no humans. "They ran," he said. "Cowards!" Suddenly a message came through, straight from King Vurox. "Varek," the king said, "I am arriving soon. Begin final attack preparations. We will end this today." "Yes, my king," Varek replied. Vurox's flagship Wrath of Croval entered the battlefield moments later. It moved slowly, its giant engines glowing red. Vurox sat on his throne watching carefully. He saw no enemies, he saw no Earth, but he felt something. "They're hiding again," he muttered. "Let them come." Then it happened. The space around the fleet twisted. Waves of strange energy rippled from the nebula. The stars looked like they were bending. Time itself seemed to slow. Then the human fleet appeared, dozens of ships moving fast and silent like ghosts, and in the center, a giant station emerged. It was called Aegis Dawn, and it held Earth's most powerful new weapon, the graviton pulse. Before the Crovalans could react, the pulse activated. A bright wave of gravity slammed into the Crovalan fleet. Ships were pulled off course. Engines exploded. Weapon systems failed. Some ships were crushed into each other. Others were pushed away like leaves in a storm. King Vurox watched in shock. He had never seen anything like this. "What is this power?" he shouted. His advisor answered in fear. "It's gravity manipulation, sire. They are using nature itself as a weapon." Inside Aegis Dawn, the Pulse team monitored the effect. "Direct hit," the technician said. 20 ships disabled. 10 more spinning out of control. Admiral Harper gave the order. "Send in the drones. Pick the rest apart." Once again, human AI drones flew into the chaos. They sliced through Crovalan ships like steel through paper. The fleet began to fall. Vurox's warships fired back wildly, but most missed. He slammed his fist on the control panel. "Send boarding parties! I want a human ship taken alive!" But none could reach the human ships. They were too fast, too smart, too well prepared. On the edge of the battlefield, human special ops teams made their move. Their goal was simple: capture a high-ranking Crovalan officer again, but this time they wanted one from Wrath of Croval itself. A small human stealth shuttle, covered in cloaking tech, attached quietly to the alien ship's outer hull. The Apatati human team cut through the walls and entered silently. Inside the grand halls of Wrath of Croval, guards patrolled with weapons ready. But they didn't see the humans. One by one, the soldiers used stun bursts to knock out guards. They reached the inner command deck. There, they found Prince Xurok, the son of King Vurox. Xurok stood tall and proud, just like his father. But he was still young. He had never fought real war before. When the humans entered, he tried to resist. He grabbed a blade and charged, but they didn't harm him. They used a shock field and knocked him unconscious. Within minutes, the team escaped, taking the prince with them. Back inside the Valkyrie, Admiral Harper received the news. Target secured. "Prince Xurok is in our hands," said the calm officer. "Good," said Harper. "Time to deliver a message." On Wrath of Kroval, an urgent call came through. It was from Admiral Harper. This time she showed the prince on screen, alive, but in a holding cell. Vurox's eyes widened. "If you come near Earth again," Harper said, "you'll lose more than your son. You'll lose everything." Vurox growled. "Return him, or I will burn your planet." Harper replied calmly, "You already tried that, and look what happened." Then she ended the transmission. Back in the Krovalan fleet, panic began to spread. Half the ships were gone. The rest were damaged. Vurox clenched his fists. "They play tricks. They steal my son. They fight like insects hiding in the dark." He looked around his broken fleet and knew the truth. He had underestimated the humans. Badly. His advisor finally spoke. "We must leave, sire. We can't win this battle." Vurox stared at the human fleet, then turned away. "Retreat," he said softly. The order was given. The Krovalan ships pulled back. In the human command center, cheers erupted. "They're retreating!" someone shouted. Admiral Harper raised her hand. "Hold your fire! Let them go!" "But Admiral, they came to learn who we are," she said. "Now they know." As the human fleet returned to Earth's space, the president of Earth's United Council gave a speech to the world. "We were tested. We were hunted. But we did not run. Humanity stood strong, not with fear, but with unity. We will protect Earth, no matter the cost." People around the world cheered. But far in the darkness of space, King Vurox sat alone in his chambers. His eyes stared at the stars. "We called them weak," he whispered, "but they are not weak. They are hunters." The skies above the Krovalan homeworld burned with energy. Giant space docks floated around the planet. Massive cannons and defense shields were active. Thousands of warships stood ready in orbit. King Vurox had returned, but this time he came home in silence. Inside his war room, the king stared at a glowing map of the galaxy. Red marks showed the positions of human fleets. Blue ones showed Krovalan ships. The red marks had grown fast, too fast. The king's face was cold, his golden. Armor was scratched from battle. His voice was deep and sharp. "How is this possible?" he asked quietly. His advisor bowed. "Sire, humans have gained the support of other species. After seeing our defeat, many planets refused to help us. Some even joined Earth's alliance." "Cowards," Vurox growled. "They only follow strength. We will show them we still have it." The advisor hesitated. "Our numbers are falling. We lost 70 ships in the last battle. And your son, Prince Xurok, is still in human hands." Vurox clenched his fist. "I will get him back. But first, I will make the humans pay." Far across space, inside a secure base near Saturn, Admiral Leon Harper met with the Earth Council through a hololink. "King Vurox has returned to his homeworld," she said. "He's preparing a final attack." The council members nodded. One leader asked, "Do you think he will strike Earth again?" "No," said Harper. "He knows he cannot win here. He wants us to come to him. He wants to end it on his land. He wants a last stand." "What should we do?" another leader asked. Harper looked straight at the camera. "We give it to him." Inside a large hangar, human soldiers prepared. Pilots loaded into ships. Engineers ran final checks. The mission had begun. This time, they were not defending. This time, they were bringing the war to the Crovaland throne. General Holt stood on a platform, speaking to hundreds of soldiers. "You are not just defending Earth anymore," he said. "You are fighting for every world the Crovalans tried to rule. Today we strike at the heart of their empire. Today we make sure they never hurt anyone again." The soldiers raised their fists and cheered. Days later, the stars above the Crovalan homeworld lit up with movement. The human fleet had arrived. Not just Earth ships, vessels from allied species too. Small, fast fighters from the Talari, shield drones from the Zarn, even 2 giant carriers from the peaceful Nimari, now armed and ready. Inside his throne room, King Vurox watched it all. "So, the whole galaxy comes to fight me," he said. The war advisor spoke carefully. "It is the result of your pride, sire. But we still have the strongest fleet on this side of the galaxy." Vurox stood, his eyes glowing. "Then we fight. Let them come. Let them see the strength of the Crovalan Empire." The battle began. Hundreds of ships flew toward the planet. Crovalan cannons fired first. Blue beams sliced through the black sky. Human ships answered with missiles and laser volleys. Explosions lit up space like fireworks. On the surface, the Crovalans activated ground defenses. Huge plasma towers, tank-sized, walkers, and heavy artillery turned the capital into a fortress. But the humans had planned for this. They used stealth ships to disable shield generators. They sent drone swarms to break through defensive lines. Elite human strike teams landed near the palace. Admiral Harper stood on the bridge of her command ship, the Valkyrie. Her eyes stayed on the battle screen. "Report," she said. "Enemy shields failing," her officer replied. "Ground teams are making progress." Harper nodded. "Send the message." A communication beam shot toward the surface. It went directly to King Vurox's command tower. "This is Admiral Leon Harper," the message said. "Your city is surrounded. Your army is falling. Surrender now. We will treat your people with honor." Vurox heard the message, but his face remained hard. "I do not surrender," he said. "I rule." He turned to his guards. "Prepare the throne room. If they want a final battle, I will give them one with my own hands." On the ground, Captain Elena Rowe led the human special forces through the broken streets of the Crovalan. Capital. Alien buildings burned. Fallen machines blocked the roads, but they pushed forward. "The palace is just ahead," she told her team. "Stay sharp. The king is waiting." Inside the throne room, King Vurox waited in full armor. His golden chestplate was heavy. His long war blade gleamed. He looked at the banners of his ancestors hanging on the walls. "Let them come," he whispered. "Let them see the last Crovalan king." The giant doors opened. Captain Rowe entered with 6 soldiers. They pointed weapons, but Vurox raised his hand. "No," he said. "If you want to end this, face me. No weapons. Warrior to warrior." Rowe looked at him, then slowly lowered her gun. "Fine," she said. "Let's end it." The two stepped into the center of the room. Vurox swung his blade. Rowe dodged and rolled. She struck fast with her fists and feet. Vurox was strong, but she was quick. The fight was intense. Blades clashed. Sparks flew. The soldiers watched in silence. Rowe landed a heavy punch. Vurox growled and slashed her shoulder. Blood dripped. She didn't stop. Finally, she jumped, kicked his chest, and knocked him to the floor. He dropped his blade. She pointed hers at him. "It's over," she said. The king looked up at her. For a moment, he didn't speak. Then, slowly, he nodded. Later, inside the human base camp, King Vurox sat in a sealed room. His armor was gone. He stared at a screen showing Earth, green and blue, spinning peacefully. Admiral Harper entered. "You had strength, King," she said. "But you used it to rule with fear. Now your empire is finished." Vurox looked at her. "You fight well, human. You are not weak. I was wrong." Harper nodded. "Many made that mistake, but now the galaxy knows the truth. In the following days, the war officially ended. The Crovalan Empire was disbanded. Worlds they had ruled were freed. A new peace council was formed. Humans were no longer seen as prey. They were seen as protectors. The human fleet returned home. Earth celebrated. Children cheered in the streets. Flags flew high. Captain Rowe received a medal. Admiral Harper was honored by the galaxy, and in a quiet place, King Vorox sat alone, no longer a king. He watched the stars through a small window. They were weak, I thought, he whispered. But they were the storm. The war was over. All across the galaxy, news spread like wildfire. The Crovalan Empire has fallen. The once feared alien kingdom that ruled hundreds of worlds for centuries was now broken, defeated not by another empire, but by the very species they once laughed at. Humans. On Earth, people celebrated like never before. Cities glowed with light. Fireworks lit up the night skies from New York to Tokyo, from Nairobi to Buenos Aires. Soldiers returned home to hugs, tears, and cheers. The blue planet that once feared the stars was now seen as a rising power, a force that had shaken the whole oldest empire in the galaxy. In the United Nations Hall, leaders of every human nation stood beside representatives of newly freed alien worlds. Flags of different shapes and colors waved side by side. Peace had arrived. President Amelia Jo of the Human Alliance stood at the front. Her voice was clear and strong. "Today we turn the page," she said. "We fought not for conquest, but for peace. We did not rise to dominate, but to defend. Let this victory remind all. Humanity may be new to the stars, but we are not afraid. We will protect our home. We will protect our friends." Cheers filled the chamber. The whole galaxy was listening. Far from Earth, on a quiet prison moon called Sarah 9, King Vorox sat in a cold metal room. No guards stood at his door. He was no longer a threat. He had no army, no throne, no voice in the galaxy. He wore a simple gray robe. His golden armor, once feared across the stars, now sat in a museum on Earth. The room had only one window. Through it he could see the stars, bright, endless, silent. He stared at them every day. Memories haunted him. He remembered when he first laughed at the word humans. He remembered when his warships were crushed in silence. He remembered the calm voice of Admiral Harper. He remembered his own son, captured and taken, now living in peace under human protection. He felt shame. He felt regret. One day, the door to his room opened. It wasn't a soldier or a guard. It was a visitor. Admiral Leon Harper stepped inside. Her uniform was clean, but her face showed the weight of long battles. "You look different, King Vorox," she said. "I am not a king anymore," he replied. His voice was quieter now. Harper sat across from him. "I didn't come to mock you," she said. "I came because I wanted to understand. Why did you hate us so much? Why did you attack?" Vorox was silent for a long time. Then he looked up at her. "We saw your kind," he said. "So soft, so fragile. You looked like prey. No claws, no armor. Always fighting among yourselves. We thought you would fall with one push." "You were wrong," Harper said simply. "Yes," he said. "Very wrong. I saw strength in your kind that I never understood. You never stopped. Even when you were losing, even when everything looked hopeless, you kept moving, like fire." He looked at the stars again. "We were conquerors. You were survivors. And survivors are harder to kill." Back on Earth, humans helped rebuild the galaxy. Engineers and scientists went to former Crovalan planets to repair cities and restore clean water. Human doctors worked side by side with alien medics. Soldiers taught others how to defend their homes. Even planets that once feared humans now welcomed them with respect. Captain Elena Rowe, The soldier who once fought King Vorok's in hand-to-hand combat stood at a school on the planet Relvar, teaching young aliens how to protect their people. She was no longer just a fighter. She had become a teacher, a symbol of strength and honor. One small alien boy raised his hand. "Miss Rowe, are all humans strong like you?" she smiled. "Not all. But strength doesn't only come from the body. It comes from here." She pointed to her heart. At the Galactic Peace Summit, held on the space station Unity-1, a large circle of leaders gathered. It was the first true council of species from across the galaxy. Aliens who once feared humans now listened to them. Representatives from Earth stood tall. A new law was passed that day. No empire, no kingdom, and no ruler would ever be allowed to control others by force again. The galaxy would be built on peace, not fear, and it had started because of Earth. Back on Sarah 9, Admiral Harper stood to leave the cell. Vorok looked at her one last time. "What will happen to me?" "You will live here," she said, "alone. Not as punishment, but so you remember what you tried to take from others. Freedom." Vorok nodded slowly. "One day," he said, "your kind may fall too." Harper looked at him. "Maybe. But if we do, we'll face it together, and we'll rise again, because that's what humans do." She left without another word. Years passed. Vorok remained on Sarah 9, forgotten by most. But he wrote. He wrote about his rise, about his mistakes, about the strength he found in those he once called weak. His writings were later discovered by a human historian. They were shared across the galaxy, and in one line he had written, "I laughed at the humans once. I saw only soft skin and small bones. But I did not see their courage, their unity, their fire. I was wrong. In the end, they were the real giants." The stars above Earth, a new station called Guardian's Reach was built. It watched over the galaxy, not to conquer, but to protect. At its center, a plaque was placed. It read, "To those who stood when all others ran. To the world that refused to bow. To the humans, you changed everything." And so, the story of the alien king who laughed at Earth became a legend. A tale told to young alien children across the stars. A reminder that even the smallest light can shine through the darkest sky. A reminder that strength does not always roar. It can also stand quietly, ready, and never back down. A reminder of the day. The galaxy met humanity and never forgot.